lost on the dusty air. A finger on the trigger and a sly little grin. A mystery that's tangled in the towns of sin. The wild bunch whispers as the saloon doors swing. The yellow rose of Texas, she makes the gold rain. From Boudoirs to Brothels, it's always the same. The money and the power play a dangerous game. With a pistol in her gutter and a plan in her mind. She's the queen of the West, leaving dust trails behind.
Hey y'all, Jamie here. Today we're going into Boudoirs to Brothels, The Intimate World of Wild West Women by Michael Rutter. And today we will be talking about the Yellow Rose of Texas. And also, anytime we go into this book, it is rated PG. So use your discretion, please. May be inappropriate for younger children. But let's get started. Alrighty. And there's Buddy back there. Buddy's my buddy. Buddy Boo. Alright, first off, we'll start with the song, The Yellow Rose of Texas. And no, I will not sing because some people don't. I sing so good that people don't want to hear me because they're so jealous of it. So I will just read the words because people are, you don't have a sense of humor. All right, here we go. From the University of Texas Archives, this early version, perhaps the original version, of the Yellow Rose of Texas is sung from the point of view of an African American and makes no mention of the Republic's fight for independence. The spelling is rustic and the word choice is chafe at modern ears, but the song remains plain. So this is a quote from this, well, not a quote, the African American viewpoint of it. The Yellow Rose of Texas. There's a yellow rose in Texas that I'm going to see. No other darky knows her, no darky, only me. She cried so when I left her, it like to broke my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more will part. And you got to keep in mind too, these are different times, way different times than now. And they use different words to describe people. So keep that in mind. This is the chorus now. She's the sweetest rose of color this darky ever knew. Her eyes are bright as diamonds, they sparkle like the dew. You may talk about your dearest May and sing of Rosalie, but the Yellow Rose of Texas is the only girl for me. When the Rio Grande is flowing, the starry skies are bright. She walks along the river in the quiet summer night. She thinks if I remember when we parted long ago, I promised to come back again and not to leave her so. Oh, now I'm going to find her, for my heart is full of woe, and we'll sing these songs together that we sung so long ago. We'll play the banjo gaily, and we'll sing the songs of yore, and the Yellow Rose of Texas shall be mine forevermore. All right, and now the story of the Yellow Rose of Texas, or the legend. It's probably more legend than real, but we'll see. Right or wrong, Emily West was the woman behind the legend. In Texas mythology, right or wrong, she was the siren behind the song, The Yellow Rose of Texas. As the story is told, the stunning Emily West was a sassy, beautiful mulatto woman who selfishly turned the tide in the war with Mexico. Before the Battle of San Joaquin, Santa Anna's troops swept across southern Texas like locusts. The Mexican president had boldly vowed to wipe out the Republic's leadership once and for all. Overly confident and boasting a superior force, he split his army and pushed towards New Washington until he was almost close enough to spit. The Mexican soldiers could see the pickets and their enemies' campfires. Confident of victory, Santa Anna chose to postpone the attack because he needed a nap. He would engage the rebellious Sam Houston and his army later. His forces had taken the Alamo, so surely this scattered bunch of rebels would present no problem for his disciplined troops. During his rest period, the great Santa Anna was seduced by a curvy, long-legged mulatto who bought time for the struggling Texas patriots by taunting and teasing the lovesick general before she finally seduced him. In his large brown and white silken tent, the enchantress played waiting games with the president, using her feminine wiles so he'd forget why he came, at least for a while. By sacrificing her virtue slowly, Emily bought the Texans enough time to rally and battle the superior foe. Santa Anna liked women. He liked his creature comforts, always traveling in style. In his opulent tent, he took his meals on exquisite china and ornate silver service. He drank the finest wines and liquor, only out of cut glasses. He also carried a large supply of opium, which he used liberally. He frequently indulged himself with the local women he captured or acquired. He called this pursuit the gravy of society. At night or during the siesta, he liked to wear silken underwear. He moved his army across Texas, invigorated by the harsh lessons he taught the rebels. On this fateful day, the beautiful Emily, unlike most of his captives, seemed to like him. The afternoon tryst went much longer than usual. He noted that she looked almost Spanish with her beautiful yellow skin and long flowing hair. She toyed with him while the female patriot courtesan and the opium-dulled general were playing parlor games in the tent. Under the oak trees, the Mexican army rested, rifles stacked by the cooking fires. Like their leader, they too were confident of an easy victory. While they rested, Texas soldiers crept into place. Many were less than 30 yards away in the tall prairie grass when the battle cry shouted, "Remember the Alamo!" Texas bullets cut down the Mexican forces like a pigeon chute. In less than 20 minutes, the battle was over. Over 600 Mexicans were killed and more than 700 were taken prisoner. Incredulous, the slightly drunken, opium-addled Santa Anna stumbled out of his tent and grabbed the nearest horse. Something was wrong. Without dignity, he galloped off in tailored silk undershorts. He was soon caught by the Texans. It was hard to miss a man in fancy silk drawers when all you'd ever worn was homespun. Of course, everything is bigger in Texas, including the story of the yellow rose. Sometimes it's better not to let a few facts get in the way of a damn good tale, especially if it promotes the glorious state of Texas. It didn't take long for the legend to become true, like George Washington and the cherry tree, or Honest Abe being overpaid 3 cents. The Yellow Rose, Emily Morgan, quickly became an important part of Texas culture. Emily was, after all, one of the heroines of San Joaquin. She gave all for the cause of Texan freedom. The new republic was understandably proud of their victory, so a woman's virtue was a small price to pay for the lives she saved and for the defeat of the Mexican army. With Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, and Sam Houston, among others, Emily became the subject of myth, legend, and elaborated fact. But what really happened? Did Emily West Morgan seduce Santa Anna so the Texans could encircle the camp? Was the Yellow Rose a woman of easy virtue? Did she save Texas? We know that Emily West was in her 30s, a freeborn mulatto from Connecticut who made her living as a housekeeper. We also know that in her day, a person of mixed ancestry or a lightly skinned black was called a high yellow. And if the person was a beautiful woman, she might be referred to as a yellow rose. What's more, she could read, write, and do some math. Her education was highly unusual for the time. That she was a beautiful woman, everyone seemed to agree. She may have wanted to broaden her horizons. Perhaps she had a desperate need for money. For whatever reason, Emily indentured herself to James Morgan. He was an interpreter with business dealings in the colony of Texas. Emily agreed to work as a housekeeper for 1 year for $100. Morgan would pay her passage to and from Texas. Because Emily was considered black, there could be complications. She took Morgan's last name as a matter of course and for her protection. This was a common practice not only for slaves but also for bondservants during their indenture. Thus, in Texas, she would be known as Emily Morgan. Many thought of her as one of Morgan's slaves, not knowing she had freeborn papers and a contract. And this is her. It says under here, a white man could visit a black brothel, but a black man could expect to be severely beaten, tarred, and feathered, or hung if he tried to do business with a white woman. This establishment was run by Madam Sieper, or whatever. That's not the Yellow Rose right there. That's another madam right there in a black brothel. Okay. But the question that many ask is of the title of housekeeper. Okay. I get to the other page. The housekeeper euphemism was housekeeper a euphemism for a prostitute? Was she Morgan's mistress? Did she go to Texas to be a prostitute, as implied in folklore? All good questions. In some Texas establishments, there were many men and few women, so female companionship was at a premium. Prostitution would have been a lucrative business move for her, and for Morgan if he was sharing in the profits. And it would have worked handily into the legend. Body girls were in demand, but so were women who could cook, clean house, and perform household duties for work-worn men and women. James Morgan was a wheeler dealer with his fingers in a number of financial pies. He was developing his own plantation, selling real estate, and growing businesses. He was also an enthusiastic supporter of the new republic. He led an army and was made a general. He owned more than 30 slaves on his plantation, but he seems to have treated Emily fairly. She might have been a prostitute, but there isn't enough evidence to prove it. Emily's first job was at a hotel, a likely place for a housekeeper or a prostitute. Being both literate and knowing basic math probably made her a business asset for Morgan at the hotel. As the war grew closer to New Washington, the hotel was full every night. Literally thousands of Texans were fleeing from the Mexican forces, creeping nearer. The news had not been good for the Alamo or Goliad. Prices for goods and services skyrocketed. A drink of whiskey was a quarter. A bed for the night was $1. Emily was busy and Morgan reaped a windfall. Man, check out some prices. For some reason, Emily did not flee with the others when Santa Anna's forces approached. She stayed in New Washington until it was too late. Perhaps she didn't understand the gravity of the times. It was bad luck, but she was captured by the Mexican army. Santa Anna was a notorious womanizer and was known for raping captured women. She was pretty and was put in his body holding pen. Because he had other women in his lineup in a battle to fight, he apparently had not gotten around to looking at the current bevy of captured females from the local countryside or New Washington. With the other captured women, Emily was put in the custody of the Army's laundry ladies. So the president could look at them over later. On the outskirts of New Washington, Santa Anna pitched camp almost on top of the Texans, where the battle would soon be fought. Both he and his army were tired from the long march, and he decided they needed a siesta. A bad choice. After the battles he had won against the rebels, he felt this confrontation would be another victory against some backwoods hicks. Yeah, watch out for us backwoods hicks. You come starting trouble with us. All right. Also, his arrogant boldness in making camp so close to the enemy would. He felt would give him a psychological advantage. Who were these Texans anyway? He called for the mixed blood woman previously scheduled to entertain him during his afternoon rest period. Because Emily was a mixed blood too, she was grabbed by mistake, and the legend was born. Savoring his past victories, wine and opium, Santa Anna wasn't thinking clearly. As we know, he grossly underestimated the rebels. Had the Mexican army defeated the Texans, Emily might at some point have become a victim of Santa Anna's bedroom lust. Instead, the battle was over almost before it started. When the shooting started, Emily, along with the other laundry ladies, took cover so a stray bullet wouldn't catch them. Likely she heard of the battle, then she saw. There's a good chance that she never even saw the supreme leader unless he galloped past her in his silken undies, trying to effect an ignoble escape while his men surrendered. Emily was near the battlefront, but not with the general. After the Texans' victory, she surely took a deep breath and headed back to the hotel. so she could catch up on the work she had missed during her incarceration. So how did Emily West Morgan, housekeeper or prostitute, become Texas' most famous siren, the Yellow Rose? When she had completed her year as a bondservant, she left Texas and sailed back to New England. By 1840, there is no census record of her in Connecticut. Emily West simply drops out of history. However, her reputation in the Republic grew exponentially. Because she was at or near the right place at the right time, it appears that people simply assumed that she was the woman with Santa Anna. She was a woman they could put a name to. She was captured by the Mexicans after all, and she was pretty. And Santa Anna had been with a mulatto. Therefore, it must have been Emily. James Morgan had been a patriot in the battle, and Emily was his servant. Therefore, again, she must have been a patriot too. True, she was no longer in Texas to verify the facts. Thus, Texas logic concludes she must have been with Santa Anna, and she was the Yellow Rose. By association, the assumptions grew, and Emily wasn't there to contradict the story. Then, the local slaves started singing a song about a mulatto slave girl who turned the tides of war for the Texans. It had a rather tight set of lyrics that was catchy and easy to learn. It became a favorite among the workers. She was, they believed, a slave who had done great things, and they could relate to her. The song soon gained in popularity and became a favorite in taverns and bars on the South Texas coast. The song was called The Yellow Rose of Texas, or Emily the Maid of Morgan's Point, named after James Morgan. Before long, the title The Yellow Rose of Texas seemed to edge out Emily the Maid of Morgan's Point, because the latter didn't have the word Texas in it. Texans celebrated the song about the girl who seduced Santa Anna for Texas. The song was presented to Sam Houston, who loved it because it glorified the Revolution. Sam Houston had a mythic feeling for Texas and supported anything, tall tales or the truth, as long as it promoted the Texas War for Independence. Some scholars think that James Morgan might have given the song to Houston. Morgan was directly connected with Emily, and that association, true or not, was good for his business. He was a shameless promoter of his projects, and Emily had played a part in that. The British writer William Boudoirs visited Texas and became good friends with James Morgan. Morgan gave Boudoirs his unique slant on the battle. His account wasn't fictional, but Morgan and the Texans looked very good. It was an interesting piece of revisionist history. The William Boudoirs Texas, Boudoirs didn't bother to check the facts. In William Boudoirs, Texas, Boudoirs didn't bother to check the facts and instead merely took Morgan's word. He wrote about the Battle of San Joaquin, Morgan style. Boudoirs boldly proclaims that the battle was probably lost to the Mexicans, except for the influence of a mulatto girl belonging to Colonel Morgan, who was closeted in the tent with General Santa Anna at the time the battle cry was made. The popularity of the song spread across Texas and into other states. It remains a favorite even today. Although some of the words have been changed, Emily probably never knew a song had been written about her or that the state of Texas considered her a hero. Well, that was a pretty good story. This, I know you can't read this. I can't read it, but it's Emily West is paper, freeborn papers. And it includes this passport acknowledging her status as a free woman having immigrated to Texas from New York. Right there. I can't read it. It's too old for me. I mean, I think it says Capitan something, something, something. I don't know. I don't know what it says. But apparently it's her freeborn papers and passport. But anyway, that's a neat story, I think. All right, I'll see you back soon. Bye.